This is The Space Shot, episode 103 for August 25th, 2017. But I thought we were going to talk about Neptune. Hey everyone, welcome to The Space Shot, your daily space history, pop culture, news fix, and occasional monologue. I'm John Molnix. First off, I have a lot of listeners in Texas, and I hope that all of you are safe and sound during Hurricane Harvey. I hope that everyone is okay there, and I'll be keeping everyone in Texas in my thoughts. I'm going to detour from the regular space history content that I normally have for you. Originally, I was going to be talking about the Voyager 2 flyby of Neptune that happened on this day, August 25th, in 1989. I'll talk more about that mission this weekend, as well as some other Voyager 1 and 2 related history. I purposefully try to keep the podcast free of political discussion, and the following monologue I think is something that's applicable no matter what part of the political spectrum you're on. I think it's apparent by now that I love space and space history, and in studying that history, I've been astounded at the progress that we have made in the last 50 plus years. It makes me optimistic about our future, and that's the foundation for what I want to talk about today for this episode, so stay with me here. I had a bit of a longish Facebook conversation with my youngest sister, and it got me thinking about how we, individually, view the future. She was talking about the rising cost of housing and the cost of living, and our discussion went off from there. I won't bore you with recounting it all here, but the point that I took was that while some things aren't ideal, we have made impressive progress in the last 100 plus years. Yeah, there are things that have become more expensive in recent years, and there are things about the current political and economic reality that you might think are less than ideal. But there's a multitude of things that have become better than we could have ever thought possible. 100 years ago, cars, airplanes, and many electronic things that we simply take for granted weren't in widespread use. Up until the middle of the 20th century, humans hadn't even managed to send satellites, let alone humans, into space. Average lifespans were short, illiteracy was widespread, and many creature comforts that we take for granted, and tons that weren't even dreamed of, were things that only the wealthy could benefit from. Diseases that killed and disabled indiscriminately, like polio, were widespread and struck at all economic strata. So how did we get from being a species that didn't have the ability to cure diseases like polio to being capable of sending humans into space in such a short amount of time? I think it's human ingenuity and innovation. In the past 100 years, our species has progressed in a positive direction. Yes, there's still suffering, and we do have a lot of work to do, but the strides that have been made are truly remarkable when compared with human history leading up to the present day. I've noticed that people on Facebook and Twitter tend to peddle doom and gloom when it comes to news lately. Negativity is cheap and easy to sell, and if I wanted to make my podcast easy to research and produce, I could just put up a lot of negative content each day. Instead, I try to look through history and highlight the incredible things that have been accomplished during the start of one of the most amazing periods in human history. Part of why I'm documenting me learning about space history and sharing it with you is that I want to create a foundation for other long-term projects that I'm working on. Right now, I want to share space history and fun stuff like pop culture history with you, but in the future, I want to have longer, more in-depth conversations about specific aspects of space history. I want to have discussions about where we'll be in 50 or 100 years. I also want to have a body of content that shows that me being optimistic about our future as a species isn't just some one-off Facebook post that I made for the likes. Conversely, I don't want you to think that I'm ever going to sugarcoat things. I won't do that. And if you ever think I do, call me out on it so we can talk about it. My point in talking about this today is that I'm going to always make sure I'm working on content that is positive, informative, and occasionally fun. The long arc of history is a positive one, but when all you do is deploy negativity, you'll never get anywhere. Don't let the temporary political or economic situations you may be unhappy with get you down. Deploy optimism in everything you do, and don't dwell on the negativity that's spewed from a lot of places. If we can do this, we will be better off in the future compared to where we are now. Playing a positive long-term game always wins out in the end. And that's it for today. If you enjoyed today's episode, let me know. Shoot me a message if you'd like to chat, and connect with me at John Molnix on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also follow The Space Shot on Facebook. Just search for The Space Shot, and you'll find the page for the podcast. I'd appreciate if you could share this podcast with your friends and family, and anyone else that enjoys audio content. Tomorrow, the Voyager episode that I was going to run today. I'm John Molnix, and I'll catch you on the flip side.